Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're okay. My computer's just doing something odd, so I'm not sure if this is working. I think it's coming back now. Okay, yes, hello, thank you for joining me, and I hope you're well. It's turned very cold and very wet here, so I'm snuggled away in the spare room. And I thought I would do a live on a subject that I've been looking into a bit lately. I haven't done the longer lives for a couple of weeks, I think. I got out of the habit, and then other things have got in the way, including Easter, that sort of thing. So this one hopefully won't be too long, but I do think it's quite an important subject if I can get my voice back. So the title of this is Who Fancies a Fika? And I don't know whether you're familiar with the word fika or the concept. You've probably heard of the Danish word hygge, Hygge. I'm sure my Danish friends will be able to correct any mispronunciations I may have done, but so hygge is a Danish word, and it means a feeling of cosiness and contentedness. If I think of hygge, I have a mental image, and that's normally around big thick woolly socks, log fires, big mugs of hot chocolate, perhaps some nice scented candles, and that sort of cosy cabin sort of feeling. The word fika is actually Swedish, and sometimes it gets associated with the word hygge, but it is slightly different. So fika is a break. It's a break that is incorporated very much into Swedish life, into their culture, and certainly into their daily working practices. They're very much established, and they typically last around 15 to 20 minutes. And they happen a couple of times a day, around 10 o'clock in the morning and around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they're very similar, if you like, to what we might consider to be our tea break or coffee break. I don't drink a lot of tea, I drink a lot of coffee. But the real difference, I think, is if we ask ourselves the question, how often do we really allow ourselves to take a break, a proper break? How often, for example, do we really even take a proper lunch break? I know that I'm quite bad, or I can certainly get into quite bad habits of not leaving the desk, not leaving the office, not going off and doing something else, something constructive. We tend to carry on typing away and working away while eating and while drinking. So these aren't proper breaks. Increasingly as well, a lunch break is only 30 minutes. Once upon a time, I think it was quite standard for the lunch break to be an hour, so you have your lunch hour. But I think more and more people are being allocated just 30 minutes. And often we're just too busy to even take that. We've developed a culture in the workplace, particularly, I think, that makes people a little bit apprehensive about taking a break, in case it's seen as you not working as hard as you should be, or not having enough to do. And for a lot of people, that will mean they think that their job is perhaps vulnerable to redundancy, some sort of disciplinary, anything like that. We've become very nervous and anxious around taking our full allocation of a break. But in reality, in Sweden, they see the fika break as a concept. It's really a state of mind. And more importantly, it's a ritual that they carry out. And its aim is not only to take a break, but it is to help refresh and to strengthen the mind, with the emphasis being on slowing down and pausing. So the opposite really of the culture that I think has developed in our workplaces perhaps, which is to keep going and keep going and keep showing that you're busy and doing all of the time. In Sweden, through Fika, they allow twice a day a chance to actually stop purposefully and slow down. Now, numerous studies have shown the importance of taking a proper break. Taking a proper break, or taking a fika, does make you feel more energized, particularly when you come back from the break. It means you're less tired, and it certainly helps with stress levels. Helping with your stress levels, of course, helps with your well-being, and in turn this helps, ironically enough, with your productivity. So anybody who's concerned around not being productive enough in the workplace ought to be taking a couple of breaks at least in order to be more productive. So if you're an employer, what does this mean for you? Well, as an employer, I would say you will benefit by encouraging your staff to take breaks or to fika. You will have happy, healthy staff who are engaged. Their well-being will be much improved, and hopefully your staff absenteeism through sickness will be reduced, which is going to be great for your business. So it is a good idea to encourage your staff to take their breaks, and it's also a good idea to try to encourage staff to have a no talking about work rule, no talking shop sort of rule. It needs to be a break, a proper break, away from the stresses and strains of what's going on immediately in the office or on the end of the phone or whatever it is. Encourage, if you can, as well, if you're an employer, all levels of staff to fika or to break together. So it doesn't matter what your status is, what position of power you might hold, what your salary is. This is an idea to get everybody together, relaxing, enjoying themselves, drinking their tea or their coffee, having those nice sweet pastries or maybe some fresh fruit, something like that, and to watch that bonding process happen, and to really just let the energy of the organisation start to flow in a more natural way than a structured kind of meeting that might normally happen. Now, apparently the Swedes fika or take their breaks for about 227 hours a year, which is the equivalent of 7.5 working days. And it is worth noting that Sweden was voted 7th on the World Happiness Report in 2020, and the UK was voted 13th. So maybe it is true that we could learn something from the Swedes. So if you're an employer, or maybe you're a member of staff who has a voice and can request or feels confident in asking for these sorts of things, why not introduce fika or breaks in this sort of way that I've talked about to your workplace? You could do it as a pilot test period for a short amount of time and see how it goes, see how people respond, see if you notice any differences in productivity and staff wellness. Invite some staff to get together for a nice hot drink or a nice cold drink if it's the height of summer, and as I've said, you could provide some cakes and biscuits or something healthier like fresh fruit. Excuse me. Spend about 10-15 minutes on a proper break, not discussing work, and try to select different venues if you can. If you've got staff scattered over different areas of an organisation, it's nice if regular meetings or regular break areas are set up in different places so that it's not the same people having to go to, I've just seen a comment, sorry. So other staff don't have to keep going to the same place. It might be a bit of a journey for them, whereas for others it isn't. So then you end up with this unequal kind of arrangement. Try to vary where you go, and that just refreshes the whole activity anyway. If it's successful, you might also consider implementing it into your organisation's policies. So maybe you have strategic objective policies, you may have health and well-being policies, I would hope so, HR policies. You could be bold and incorporate your policy around Fika and what it entails as an employee right, and have that sort of set in stone as a good thing that you're doing in your organisation. And I think there are very few people who would not welcome having regular breaks away from the desk, away from the work, in their workplace, and they will all notice the positivity that comes from being able to share that with colleagues and peers. So that is something I am very mindful of, that I need to take more regular breaks. I know that I need to certainly move around a bit more to help with my shoulder problems. And I thought that was quite an interesting bit of research that I was looking into around the Swedish culture and what they're doing to help mental well-being in the workplace and so on. So let me know if you have a similar kind of setup in your workplace, or if you have instigated any sort of well-being initiatives where you are. I'd like to hear about those. That would be very interesting. And that is it from me. So thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and I shall be back next week with some more research into another aspect of well-being that I'm quite passionate about. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and take care. Stay safe. See you later. Bye.